Alright, what's up YouTube? So today I'm going to show you how to polish a wheel. So this one's okay, not too bad, but as you can see, I'm not really going to touch the face because normally I would send it out to get powder coated, but the lip, I'll polish it myself, so at least it has a better shine. As you can see, it's got some curb rash there, and yeah, some clear coat oxidation, some scratches. So what our initial goal is, so I already did one more, this is the third one, but I'm gonna walk you through the steps on this one. Now you gotta have some tools. You can sand it by hand, but you can't achieve it. I used to sand it by hand and then with the orbital sander, like that. It's okay, but you didn't have to go through all the grits. I'm sorry, you're eating the candy. You have to go through all the grits down to 220, 320, 400, 600, 800, 1000. But I've learned a much faster way to polish, and that's to strip down everything. So you gotta be familiar with these are the polishing pads. Satin airway buff for the final, and of course the newest one, you gotta have one of these right here. I'll probably a link on it. You can get it at Harbor Freight. It's like $44, or on Amazon they're like $60, I think. But I use a Warrior 3500 RPM. You have to buy the extender. Cannot do it without the extender. So this right here is a Renegade buff wheel. There's a prep wheel. There's a prep wheel. So with this one, it's like sanding with 600. But since it's moving so fast, it helps you remove everything that's on here, clear coat and all. But it doesn't help you remove the imperfections that's on here. You see that? I don't have a welder to fill it in. Otherwise, I'd be like, weld it. Weld it on the edge and grind it, reshape it. That's the only way you can get rid of that curb rash. Other ways, you can use angle grinder, the flap disc. Just smooth it down, make it smooth. So we'll walk through the steps, and when you do that, you should have something like this. See? Nice and shiny. But see? And then, so a quick example of what I'm talking about, just so you can see how these bolts come rusted. The hardware's fine, it's just that the bolts rust over time, of course. JDM dirt.
Take off valve stem, keep all the parts with it. Alright. As you can see, we're going to remove some of this curb rash that's on here before we even start. You see all the JDM dirt all the way around, but we're going to remove some of that curb rash. So in order for me not to get hurt or anything on my eyes, it's best if you get one of these off of Amazon, full cover face mask, so nothing gets in your eyes, you don't breathe in it. All you got. Use a regular grinder with a flat disc.
All right. Now after we passed it with the 40 grit flat disc, cleaned up the edges, removed all the curb rash on it, anything harsh. As you can see, I already have my disc set up. So I am using a Warrior Harbor Freight angle grinder, buffer, whatever, with the attachment. I think it's a 3-inch. And then these plates and discs, I got it off of Renegade products. There's a Renegade prep wheel. There's a blue, it's a medium. It does have the safety flanges on it. You need it in order to protect yourself. It doesn't fly off or rip off or whatever. So let's get to start to prep the wheel. Most of this is on. It'd be better if I had a tire machine that keep on rotating, so I won't have to rotate it myself, but I gotta do this manually since I just started doing it not too long ago. All right. So let's check it out. Cleaned up pretty well. See that? Got it prepped nice and smooth. Now, traditionally, if you were to sand this with this, you can sand it, but you have to go, depending on the damage and trying to remove the clear coat, you'd have to go all the way down to 80, 180, 320, 400, 600, 800. But with this disc, with the Renegade disc, the prep disc, the medium, it gets you right at basically 600 already. And it removes the clear coat because it's spinning so fast. It's quite abrasive. Now, there is a double one here. I need to get an arbor extension, but first I hit it with this, get this surface prepped, and then and even if you were to sand it, since this is let me put the camera down. Since this is a step lip, you wouldn't be able to get into these grooves as easy, especially here. I mean, you can use the sander, but you can't get into this little section like in between the little humps. You have to have a disc. It'll be much faster with the disc. But let me go ahead and finish this up, and then I'll show you when it's ready. Where we're at, you see that? Pretty much got a shiny. Look at all this corrosion. Without sanding, you wouldn't be able to get into that little section right there. But that's halfway through. We still got a lot of way to go.
So here I decided to mute the audio because it was just annoying. All I did was start sanding it down with 320 to get rid of the heavy grit imperfections. So normally I go through 320, 400, and a 600, and then I'll finish it off with the satin airway buff because it'll leave a better finish.
Alrighty, so now we have our surface prepped and sanded to remove all the minor imperfections. Now, in order to hit it with the higher polish, to achieve the high polish, we need to hit it with our satin air buff. This one is going to give you like the sanding up to 2,000, 1,500 to 2,000 grit down here, and we'll show you here in a little bit. As you can see, it's smooth, it's already cleared out. Before we get to the polishing, let me hit it with the airway buff.
So here I'm about to speed it up to get the process going. I thought you want to see me just like moving through the motions. It's just basically just go through the whole wheel and make sure you get all the corners and get it all use the satin airway buff to get the fine polish before we start our prep for the actual polish. This is just to get out all the little itty bitty scratches out of it.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and use the orange medium, whatever life it's got left. We're going to use the brown Tripoli for our first initial cut to get rid of all this. And
all right, so here we're gonna hit it with that brown first cut pad, which is a medium pad. You just gotta lather up that pad with that Tripoli, and then you're gonna just go to town. Start polishing that bad boy.
there you have it, folks. A nice polished wheel, polished lips. Damn. Check that out. Shiny. Big difference when it's compared to its faded counterpart. When we first started. By the way, this is my shop. I import wheels, and I just only recently started learning how to polish. As you can see, this is how the other one was. Not as bad as this one, but big difference. Wouldn't you say? Huge difference. Assembled silver face with center cap. Big difference. Polished lip. The hardware is still the same. I have new hardware, but I like to keep the original hardware with all the wheels unless it's necessary. But as you can see, it's blinging. So this spec is polished. Now traditionally sanding, it would have taken me at least a little bit longer to get through every grit and sand and try to get in between all the little grooves, but as you can see, let me go through the things. We have the Renegade prep disc, the Renegade final buff, but they also have a double-sided airway buff. So this one's the satin airway buff. So that one. Next, they have the prep disc, this blue one, that you saw me use. This is the one to remove all medium oxidation. It's the medium cut. Cuts through the clear coat, remove all that junk, and then we use the final step. Well, sanding, 500, 800, whatever you want to remove the imperfections that this leaves. This does leave some scarring, so you need to sand it after this one in order to have a perfect shiny mirror finish. And then once you sand it, you use this for the final grit. So this is like sanding between 1200 to 1500 grit. As you can see, it gives you a light, nice, bright shine. And of course, you do need your polishing pads. This is the razor thin that they offer. I haven't used it yet. It's brand new. And this is their medium cut. Any standard orange, or they have you have to fray it. It tells you which way it goes. I use the one with the insert because I don't have the Makita polisher or grinder. What's it called? But yeah, that's it. As you can see,